welcome to the number one We Love Niantic podcast. I am Charles McFall, and the oh yeah daddy right next to me is Joe_Ard. And this is the show that brings all the bots to the yard, baby. They're like, this podcast's better than yours. So that's who's here. I did check the community before I hit start. And we got my favorite bot, Squishy Twitchy's here. And then everything else here, I believe, is a bot. It's like, well, we'll do the show for the bots, the best one that we can.
That's right.
Oh, good. Now, Joe, last week, we jumped some guns, I think. I think we rushed some decisions. And, companies like Niantic, they really do have to make decisions based on some bottom lines and where they're going. We don't always see where they're going and what they're doing. And I think there's going to be some headlines that support this, but I've really regretted my decision to delete the game.
Do I need to send a forensic scientist to check your bank account? Did Uncle Hanky send you a blank check?
My bank account's none of your business. I'm just saying. Maybe we rushed to some decisions. We rushed to some decisions that had some zeros behind them. I mean, had some thought, but we didn't put enough thought into it. But I've been out of the game for a week now, and I'm just so far behind. I can't really catch up. But sometimes you got to think about the decisions you make. Is all I'm saying.
You couldn't even get through the whole thing.
I tried, man. I tried so hard. It got so far.
The rock god of shill.
But in the end, it doesn't even matter. But apparently we alienated all of our live audience because nobody wanted to hang out with us tonight except Squish.
Our viewers just jumped up to 6. What are you talking about?
Squish. I think we could just get on here and literally just stare at each other. Squish is like, I support you guys. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm the best bot. I love that about it. So we do have some headlines, but we have some questions and some experiences of the week for you, sir. So what were your experiences of the week?
Well, my experiences this week were going into my settings and turning off Adventure Sync, going into my phone's settings and making sure that it only used my GPS data when I turned it on. And then every day I made sure to catch one Pokemon and do one research. And if a rocket popped up, I would battle it. But that's about all I did on purpose.
Okay.
Because
so you accidentally caught everything else? I'm not sure the on purpose part. What's the
No.
stipulations there?
Basically, I did the bare minimum in the game that I felt comfortable doing, because I'm trying to avoid giving Niantic any user data that they could then sell to other places. So that's why I turned off Adventure Sync. I turned off using my GPS data unless I'm using the app, and I only turned it on to keep my daily streaks alive. That's it.
All right. Polly, and this is not a bit. This is a real question, Polly. Because I do like making up names for people and shortening things. So I want to make sure you're not bothered if I call you Polly Date, because it's Polly D8. I could whatever. But Polly, if you
Charles wants to date what?
Hey, I love all of our fans and watchers and people who procreate with us. I just said, I'll buy you a beer in public. I'm not ashamed. Pauly D is perfect. Okay. I was going to say Pauly Date, but I'll take Pauly D. Pauly D said the same with what you were just saying, Joe, about how that he did something similar to it. And when I'm looking at the experiences of the week in our Discord, and it looks like Danger's my middle name. No. I'm calling you Polly Danger 8 now. Come on. That is too cool. I know when he's being funny, but still, you got it. I got you. But in our Discord, from March 30th, it was when we recorded.
Yeah, there's nothing new.
Yeah.
No new experience of the week in our Discord.
Even Nolte's King of the Shinies, did that come in just in time for our show last week?
Nope. That one came in right during our show.
Okay. Yeah. So no new experiences. Now the question is, because this is how I am, I'm gonna make everything about me. Is it because I broke with the game, or is it because the game broke with you? And that's kind of a question I have to everybody. Uh, it is, and it sounds like at least for Pauly D and for you, Joe, is the game broke with you.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, well, you know what? That's the
So
experience. That's the
so
part of
did
the
you
experience.
re-download it? Was that your experience?
No, I didn't. I haven't missed it, to be honest. Um, I told my wife about it a little bit. She asked something. It's like, and it really does. What broke for me is I need to listen to when people and companies tell you who they are. And it's just not going where I want it to go. I can sit here and be professional all day long and have fun. We'll still joke. We'll still say things. But let's be real. Nobody's here to hear about my expertise or full dive in on how well I play the game better than anybody else because I don't. I don't have expertise. You have the expertise, but we make a great pair and we have fun together. And that's so it wasn't a huge break for, I don't think it's a big surprise for anybody that I deleted the game. And no, I mean, the reality was I played it for the show, but I don't need to. We can still do this show without me playing it. I think one of us needs to play the game for the show to work. So, Joe, you cut out. Well, you already said you gave them until the end of April.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know what? You know what? I'm going to call out somebody here. I don't normally do this on a show, but I'm going to call out Mr. Tambourine 19 and Lincoln Prime and Civilian for Ellie. They are live online in our Discord. They're not watching the show. I'm just saying. Poly Danger is way better. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody's great. I love you. So Poly got no shinies, caught 10 Pokemon. Free to pay, period. Yeah, Poly, I get that. I checked my Google account.
Mr. Tambourine is right there. Just chatted.
Oh man, if I say more names, will they just show up? Ibit. So he checked his Google account. He spent $200 in Pokemon Go last 12 months. They aren't getting a dime. Yeah, I get that. See, Tambo, I knew. I want to know. Okay, Joe, you and I. Here's our experience of the week. We played games on Tuesday night, and we started off. We tried to do Mario Party. The game did not do well. It just was lagging, wasn't really working.
And then disconnected us and turned each other into robots on our respective switches.
Which we could have had some fun with that, especially if both games were up on the screen and seeing how it played differently. But that's not what we're there for. Yep. And it was a closed game, meaning that you had to have, of course, Mario Party to play. That's not what.
Well, and you had to be there from the start. Obviously, we couldn't. Because
you can't
just hop in.
Right.
So we probably won't do. We probably won't try to do Mario Party anymore.
Yeah, no. But we shifted up and did Mario Kart, which again, you still have to have a Switch and all that. But we played that for a little bit. But then we swapped over. It's like, okay, Joe, let me see if it'll work on my Mac, and I'll download the Jackbox Party and show him, because Joe hadn't experienced it before. So like, let me show you how it works and everything else. Why not? We'd already played for a good hour or so before I pulled that out, and we loaded it up, and then Yo Mama joined us. I don't know who Yo Mama is, but I would like to know who Yo Mama is. I kind of thought it was Tambo, and it was definitely somebody who listens to us because they were putting in Pokemon references and that kind of thing, and Rock God references, which I don't think there was anything on the screen to say anything along those lines. So what I'm saying is, if they were a stranger, I don't know where they would have gotten the info, but it was fun. It was cool. I was glad to see him. But Tambo says not him.
Yeah, I mean, we had the room code displayed and everything, so yeah. Word to yo mother. Yo mama.
Polly Danger says I downloaded Junk Jack on Switch and played it more than Pokemon Go this week. Yeah, I got you. I do want to say I do love the idea of the Jackbox games for us to play, because Joe, let me ask you.
Let's play it this next time in May, because Civilian's been saying that he's got all the games. All of them.
That was one person hosting, and everybody else can jump in.
Yeah.
But that was your first experience with it, right?
Yeah.
What did you think?
It was good. I think it'll be a lot better with more people, but it was good.
Yeah, it definitely helps when we know. Like the one I bought, I'd never really played, so I was only familiar with the first game, which was Fibbage 3. So I understood the idea there, but the other ones we played, Bracketeering, and another one, the break the internet, and we didn't really know how it was going to work, so we just tried our best, and we kind of figured it out as we went through. So I think it'll definitely be more fun with more people, and now that we understand how it works.
Yep, and the plan is the next game night will be May 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so that's a Tuesday.
There you
Yep.
go.
It'll be fun.
And you're already bailing on the 4th. I see how it is.
It's true. My kids have a school play on the 4th where they're doing Puss in Boots.
Your kids, whatever. You're going to celebrate Star Wars Day at 7-Eleven.
I am disappointed that the play is not a Star Wars play. But
made a Slurpee be with you.
yeah, it'll be fun.
So it'll be good. All right, let's hit our question of the week, and then we'll go to the break. And what was the question this week?
It was, how do you feel about the changes to remote raids in game? And it's not too late if you want to answer it in the chat here. Go for it. I'm going to put the link there if you wanted to follow along. Mr. Tambourine is in the chat and already posted a rather lengthy response here on Reddit. So I'll go ahead and read that. And we've got...
he could have called the phone line and read it himself. And we
it's true.
But I understand why he does it, because he didn't want it to be roll tide, roll tide.
Actually,
roll tide, roll tide, roll tide, roll tide, roll tide, roll tide, roll tide. I get it. Okay.
I wonder if, because we have one speak pipe, right? I wonder if it's about this topic as well.
Probably. So we'll go ahead and play it at the end of reading the responses here.
All right, let's do it. Roll Tide. So Mr. Tambourine 19 says, I am not too happy with the new changes. Niantic is essentially taking away one of the best features they have provided in the last few years. The remote raid pass was a great idea for all. It made Niantic money. It provided a way to play the game with friends who are not in the immediate local areas, such as friends and relatives I have in Japan and the Philippines. That's pretty cool. It made it easier to participate in 5-star raids. Before remote raid passes, if I wanted a particular legendary, I would have to find a suitable raid within the first couple of days of its debut. If not, I would be out of luck, unless that particular Pokemon was featured in raids during a community day or a similar event. Raid hour on Wednesday doesn't work for me because when I get off from work, I have to cook dinner and attend to other family matters. I know Niantic says they want us all to get out and meet up, but what I really suspect is Niantic wants to report to potential advertisers how many Pokemon Go players pass their establishments. Yeah,
okay. You know what? That was a thing early on in the first couple of months. Emmett or you or somebody had mentioned that would be a great benefit to a business.
Oh yeah, that's why they had sponsored raids as well, sponsored gyms,
yeah,
and they still do. Anyway, okay, I get it. But I also remember the EX raids where mobs of people would gather and how upset some business owners would be over Pokemon players impeding traffic flow to their store. Come on, Niantic, if you want us all to quit the game, just stop the game outright. Don't kill the game in a slow, torturous fashion. Don't act like you are really concerned about my health and fitness. Truth be told, I would get better exercise briskly walking the park trail rather than frequently stopping to spin Pokestops or catch Pokemon. I will miss my friends and community, but Niantic is making it really hard to enjoy this game. Yeah. If they wanted to increase foot traffic to an establishment that didn't want to do, say, a huge sponsorship like Sprint did in the past and things like that, they should do something similar to what the Pokemon Company does. Whenever there was an event, they would actually give pass cards to establishments like GameStop that you would have to go to the GameStop, physically get the card, and you would scratch off the code and you would use it. Or it wasn't always a scratch off, but there was a code.
Sure, yeah.
And you would put it into the game and you would get that legendary.
They even went to the point where if you went to GameStop and connected to their internet with your Switch, or it wasn't a Switch, it was like 3DS or whatever, right? You could go in, connect to their internet, and then download that special thing.
Yeah, and they've done that with McDonald's too, where if you went to the McDonald's and got connected to their internet, you would get. I remember it was a Hoopa. I got a Hoopa for my Pokemon Y by stopping by McDonald's, connecting to their internet, and hooking it up. And while I was there, I was like, I'm already here, and they have Pokemon toys at the same time in the Happy Meals. So I just grabbed a couple of Happy Meals, brought them home to the kids. Win, all around. So, yeah, if they were really wanting to... Because, let's be honest, just like Mr. Tambourine says, they don't care about our actual fitness. They don't. Not really. That's just them, doing that whole grandstanding, better than thou type of thing. Like, yeah, we care about your fitness. We care about you. We care about... they don't care about us beyond our wallets. That's all they care about. They care about our wallets and what they can do with our information to sell to increase their wallets. So, yeah.
What other responses do you have?
All right, so we've got Mr. Gundam 1215. I'm gonna slightly edit this because, we're a family-friendly show. But in the words of Happy Gilmore, beep.
That's all you really have to say. That's all you really like. Yeah, I know where he's going here.
I am like Joe. I've been playing since Red and Blue and dreamed of that VR WoW style Pokemon game. And yes, Go was the first step in that direction. However, over the past 6 to 7 years, they have slowly been kicking the fans in the ribs and have been saying, tell us you love us. However, the only positive time was COVID, when they boosted the proximity of the stops and gyms and introduced the remote raid passes and the free daily box. After that, it was back to kicking the ribs again.
Oof.
Yeah. No, it's the only reason that they put out remote raids in the first place was because they saw that COVID was going to severely limit in-person raiding. That is literally the only reason that they put out remote raids. We all know it. It's not anything new to anybody. That's the only reason they did it, and that's why we knew that they were going to try to roll it back somehow, some way, and that there was going to be a big blowback. We were hoping that fan uprising would prevent them from doing it, but they don't care. Pauly D here in the chat says, on this topic, hate the price, but fine with the limit per day. And to be honest, the limit per day doesn't impact most players. It impacts the whales the most. And so that it seems weird that they would limit it per day, to be completely blunt.
I think I saw you or somebody. I'm pretty sure you and somebody were discussing it in one of our chats, but I saw something about, well, when the whales leave, the game's over.
Yeah,
that is true.
Who said that? Was that in our? Yeah, it was Civilian in Discord. Yep. Yeah, Mr. Tambourine says at this point they don't even care about the whales, and Civilian says in chat, I know I am always on the negative, but I feel the game is at a very big turning point where the whales keeping it alive are almost fed up with it. If they leave, I think the Pokemon Company will not renew the deal to keep the Pokemon IP.
Yep.
I have heard rumors and mumblings that they backed off last time when the Hear Us Niantic thing went on about the interaction distance. I heard a rumor that the only reason Niantic backed off was because the Pokemon Company made them.
Okay.
That I don't know if it's true. It could be completely false, but that's what I heard. is that they actually had to step in and say, no, you change that back right now. And then they just...
And there's no real way for us to find out.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and that, as we knew the whole time, the task force was just a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
We've known that. We knew that when it was first announced. And to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised they didn't try to, keep it sort of kind of going, like the grandstanding of it all, for like a month or two. After that first announcement, we've heard basically nothing about the task force, even though they said they were going to give us monthly updates.
Yeah.
So, but so what do we got? What comments do we have over on Spotify?
We got 2. Pepino Morelli says money grabbing move. That was the response. How do you feel about the changes to remote raids in the game? Money grabbing move from Pepino. Wow. Okay, I missed it. Pepino Morelli. I like it.
Pepperoni mozzarella.
Yeah. And I believe our old buddy Cesar says they're using the stick instead of the carrot. His response there.
Yeah, well,
and
your customers don't like getting beat with a stick.
Stick them on, So
I'll tell them
along those lines,
put that stick. What?
I am what?
No, you said you were going to play the speak pipe, because we're guessing it's about this.
I believe it is. So here we go.
Hey guys, it's Cesar. Just thought this was important enough to actually leave a speak pipe.
Yes.
Really appreciate the fact that it's not a Flower Crown Eevee or a Flower Crown Pikachu. It's actually a Cherry Blossom Eevee, a Cherry Blossom Pikachu.
So important.
They're different. So, I know Charles would love that.
Yeah, punching you one hand.
Love your show, guys. Bye.
So it wasn't a response to that question, but
well, clearly it is a response. Niantic just thought that the cherry blossoms would make everything all right. It would just distract from what they're doing.
Cherry blossoms.
Misdirection.
It's the same thing as a flower crown. Cherry blossoms, for those of you that are uneducated, are flowers.
Well,
and they're arranged in a crown formation on these Pokemon's heads. Therefore,
but
it is a flower crown Pokemon.
Cherry blossoms are trees.
Trees can have flowers, Joe.
You're not wrong.
Trees. It's break time. Dun, 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 dun. It's
Can't
break
touch
time.
this. Oh, man. What am I going to do with you?
Honestly, the more and more, like when you were talking to me, we were talking about the Nintendo, the Pokemon company or whatever made them take it back. That makes me think more and more and more that it's them trying to get out of a contract by circumstance.
Yeah, that they're purposely trying to kill the game because they
can't do what they want, or they're ready to move on to the next step. But yeah, and we've talked about that, so we don't need to drag it out. But
well, and I've seen a ton of people posting online about how Niantic is in the phase where they're just trying to milk it with the minimum viable product.
It's like they know it's going to go away, but let's get as much money as we can out of it.
If they wanted to keep it going, they could. They're just killing it, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's meta.
I need to find a song.
Rad Rob.
All right, let's go. I don't know. That's what 8. Pick the number between 1 and 8, Joe.
5.
when we reached out to Pikachu for comment, that's all he said. He could have just said no comment, but instead he just started jamming and yelling at us in gibberish. So there we but here at Pokemon Go Podcast, we do our due diligence, and we did try to reach out for comment. Well, you know, he was high on Stardust. What can I say? All right, Joe. So this is an order that we wanted to talk about, right? Everything's in order.
Yes.
So this headline threw me off as I'm copying it over. It says remote passes have been updated. I went, oh wait, no, that's last week's headline. Nope, it's this week's
because
what
it's officially in. They said they were announcing it today. That it would happen today. They have not backed off on the changes, as I'm sure a lot of people were hoping. They just went with it. The one thing, and we said it last week, I'm going to say it again. I am very, very appreciative of the Sylph Road mods, because anytime this has been brought up where I've seen it, they have put a comment in there saying, look, we are turning off the bots. Please keep it respectful. We have removed our automatic filtering and our moderation tools and things like that, but please be respectful and constructive. No attacks, and stuff like. And so I love that they are willing to let people have their voice.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So it's just confirmation that it is there.
Well, and I love the top comment on here.
Okay.
It's from Ardride, I guess. Redditor. It says, why didn't they lower the price of incubators along with this to promote going outside?
What? Why?
It's almost like they don't actually want to incentivize people to go outside. They just want to kill the game. Oh, Niantic.
Oh, man, I'd love to see some real numbers on what happened in this last week between announcements and today.
Yeah.
Has it really dropped off? Has it plateaued? Because, that is the way it happens sometimes. We went through this phase 2 years ago where it was I quit Niantic or I quit Pokemon, and all the big, well, not all, but a lot of big community or content rather creators were going, I'm quitting the game. They made a big spectacle of I'm quitting the game today because of this and that. And I think it really, Joe, I think you and I both agree that it was more spectacle than anything. Because obviously the game just kept getting stronger even after that. So I'm always curious to see the reality of the effects versus, well, we got our feelings hurt, but does Niantic even care? Or did anybody really stop playing kind of deal?
Yeah. Well, and I don't see all of this working, to be completely honest. We're going to talk about it in just a little bit. There is a new Hear Us Niantic campaign being pushed. It makes me think of the big push in the D&D community recently. Did you hear much about that whole thing?
No. I do know about, you're talking about where D&D was pushing to license everything. Because, not D&D, Hasbro was pushing the license.
Yeah, Hasbro, which owns Wizard of the Coast, which owns D&D.
Yeah.
Basically, they were changing the terms of service for homemade stuff, that because they had a fantastic system, and they still do because they backed off, but they have a fantastic system where creators can make their own stuff to work with D&D, and they can publish it, and they can make money off of that while basically free promotion for the game. And in some instances, depending on what service you use, they pay a fee to Wizards of the Coast and whatnot. Anyway, they were going to change all of that, like huge changes that would have impacted people, and they were it was bad, and the community full out mutinied. Like, it was a huge mutiny, and Hasbro backed off for now. I hope they stay backed off, but they backed off. But it was, people were like, we're done. We're moving to a different system. They don't have a monopoly on on tabletop games, they've just been, because of how awesome they've been with creators, it's been a fantastic area. Well, if they're not going to be awesome with creators, we can create elsewhere. And what ended up happening is Hasbro, I think it was last year, bought it was a third-party service originally, but Hasbro bought it. It's called D&D Beyond. And so the community organized for people to just drop the subscription, just flat out. And they lost tens of thousands of subscriptions within a week. And they were like, oh, shoot, we got to back it off. We don't have a subscription service here with D&D, though. So there's not anything that we can just be like, stop. And it's like, yes, this is very much, we're not going to do this anymore. We're canceling stuff. We don't have anything to cancel. We can stop paying for stuff. Or like I said earlier, disable as much of the information gathering that they can get. So I said earlier, I turned off Adventure Sync. I made it so that it can only use my location data when I have the game on. And I went with it. And so, like, there's not really any other recourse that I could do other than deleting the game outright. And even then, I almost feel like me staying still but connecting to their servers is a bigger drain than the information they get from me turning it on for 1 second to catch stuff. Is that spiteful of me? Is a little bit?
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Yes, it is. That's okay. Pure Lighter in chat says remote raids nerf. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed.
I have a coworker that he always says "oh boy," and I his name's Lewis, but my area just calls him "oh boy." So whenever I see that phrase, it makes me think of him. Oh boy.
So here's an update by Niantic's community manager, because I would have thought either they're going to tackle this head on or they're going to stick their heads in the sand. Apparently, they decided to do neither.
Well, so with the announcement, they did announce one update where the top tier raids, the tier 5 legendary raids, would have an increased chance to drop XL candy. And so the Pokemon Go hub has said that apparently the amount will increase, quote unquote, significantly. And I'm like,
what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, and so what? Like, give us hard numbers. Yeah. Actually, that's even the first comment here from Ghosh7 on Reddit. All these words like increase significantly, or significantly greater, or more accessible. 0 actual numbers. And then they go on to say, I'm not interested in more if you are lucky incentives. That is 100%. We are sick and tired of these, well, you have an increased chance. Yeah, and then they're like, well, legally you had an increased chance because it was a 0.00001% increase on the likelihood that it would be shiny.
Yeah, so if his point, let's say the reality was it was less than 1% sometimes with the increase. Let's say it's 1%. Yeah. So a drastic increase could be 5% because that's 500% increase.
I think you're being a little too drastic with their version of drastic. A drastic increase to them would be like 1.1%.
Yeah, but my point is, if you start simple and low, right? Now, I think you're 100% right, but let's first simple math for people to follow along.
More percentages. I'm 100% right.
You're 101% right.
That's right.
If you start at 1%, which we know is tiny, and you go to 5%, which is super tiny still, but that's a 500% increase, so you could use the words drastic. So yeah, if you go from a 0.02% to a 1% drastic increase, and we're still going, and we still don't have anything. You know?
Yep. But supposedly it's going to be a quote unquote significant increase in XL candy. I'm like, no, No. What they should actually do if they wanted this to actually have an impact at all, which it's going to have a minimal impact, like I can almost guarantee it, other than for whales. They should have given us hard numbers. Like, if you participate in a legendary raid, you will get like 2 to 6 XL candy. And then it still has that randomness to it, but it's very specific on this is what you can expect. Whereas the wording that they actually put into the announcement was that we will have a chance to have candy XL drops. An increased chance. It wasn't even like guaranteed chance. It was an increased chance. So that, to me, that means, okay, I could have 0 or 1. Like, that's, in my mind, that's the best I'm willing to give Niantic. That means there's a chance I'll get 1 or 0.
Yeah. It reminds me of when was some of my favorite shows, like Quantum Leap was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Oh, they're remaking that.
I know, it's not the point. But back in the day, right, Joe? You'd watch it and it'd be on a certain night. Then they changed it to a different night because it wasn't doing as well. They changed it, or then they go to cancel it, and everybody would write in letters and please, we love the show. We love the show. Just okay, we've heard the public. We're going to change it. Man, I just wish we could go back to the old style where somebody would just be bothered to take 5 minutes to write a letter to Niantic, and they would hear us.
Someone did write a letter, don't you know?
No, go on.
It's a digital letter, and actually, I don't even know who the original author was, if it's this post or what. But there was an open letter written, and let's assume that it was from these people because the person that posted this is from Pokeminers.
Okay.
So it has multiple pictures here. And we're just going to go ahead and read it because I think this is important for the whole community to hear what this is. And especially, what are they posted all the different people, the bigger people. So it was reposted by, Pokeminers Trainer Club, Joe Merrick, which he does Cerebi, Pokebattler, Kato
That's not
Nolan.
your brother?
Like, no. Right. But yeah, so no, all of that. Like a ton of people reposted this, but anyway, so it's the first picture is Hear Us Niantic, very simple and stylized. I like it, good stuff. And then it goes on to say, Dear Niantic, we are, and there's different segments of this that are in red instead of in white. I love it. But they say, we are writing to you on behalf of your customers, the Pokemon Go community. We want to start off by letting you know that we love Pokemon Go. Not just Go, but the Pokemon franchise in general. We are and always will be passionate, loyal and vocal about our thoughts and concerns. We want Pokemon Go to succeed, and we want to be able to play this game, the game we love, for years to come. Unfortunately, we as a whole feel unheard. Time and time again, our questions go unanswered. We definitely have some people that have had that. Thunder Muffin, for instance, who has reached out to Niantic over and over and over and over and over again.
And had to go to court over stuff.
Yeah. Our concerns are not addressed. And most importantly, our needs are not taken into proper consideration. As of now, we are specifically referring to the April 6th Remote Raid Pass update. We do not agree with your decision, and the majority of us want you to know. And I'm going to call them out on this real quick. They focus on the limiting the remote raids to 5 passes per day. That is not the thing that's going to harm the most players. The price will. I'm just going to call that out right now. I think while the focus on that is fine, they focused on that. I think the more egregious sin is the price increase. Anyway, so we do not agree with your decision, and the majority of us want you to know that limiting remote raids to 5 passes per day will harm rural trainers who lack adequate local community support, trainers with disabilities who physically cannot get outside to play, trainers who have severe social anxiety who struggle mentally to get outside to participate in in-person raids, trainers who work night shifts and cannot participate in raids during the day, and single-parent trainers who are managing children, a household, and a career with minimal time to spare. And most importantly of all, the remote raid changes will limit our global interaction with our trainers who we have developed tight bonds with over the last 3 years. And they're calling it specifically 3 years because that's when remote raids were introduced.
Gotcha.
Every form of trainer has equal and every right to play and enjoy Pokemon Go. And I'm going to amend that by saying in the way that they want to. I don't care about Niantic's goal for how they want us to play. We should be able to play it how we want to.
Yes.
At the end of the day, the world has evolved since the pandemic. The landscape of working, playing, and interacting has evolved and changed. Trainers now work at home. That is 100% my case. When I worked in the office, there were 3 gyms at the office and then another 4 Pokestops. Like, it was fantastic. Now I've got nothing next to me. As anyone who's here live can see, I've got nothing in my neighborhood, which I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a neighborhood. Anyway, so trainers are working from home now. Through the new work-life dynamic, rich remote raid communities were built. These communities are just as viable and strong as in-person communities. These communities are unique, special, and one of a kind, and we know from the bottom of our hearts that there is equal room to have both types of communities flourish simultaneously. And do you want to go ahead and read the second page of this? Do you have it pulled up?
I do. Yeah, I do. If Niantic's goal is to get trainers outside, reward players significantly for doing in-person raids. Rewards, guaranteed XL rare candy. That's just never going to happen. Increase lucky friend odds during the first time in-person raid interaction. Offer premium items such as incubators, star pieces, etc. from in-person raids. Those last 2 could happen. Here's in bold red. Incentivize the in-person raids, but do not take away and squander what we've built globally over the last 3+ years. I want to stop you right there. I agree with the first part. Incentivize the in-person raids, but then do not take away and squander. I think you've missed the point of what Niantic is doing, and that's why I don't think any of this is going to work. But I'll carry on with reading.
Well, I know what Niantic claims they're doing.
Yes, and I can see why this person, whoever wrote it, the people writing it, it feels like we've built it. Now, that is true. We have built a global community around this game, but Niantic doesn't care about that. That doesn't move their bottom dollar. All right, I want to moving on. Without remote raids, the opportunity to attend live events to meet with our global Pokemon Go friends will not be as enticing, exciting, or robust. Yes. We as a global community did not want the remote raid issue to come to this point, but as already mentioned, we are not heard. We are sad, distraught, and discouraged because our interactions with our global friends will no longer be free to accommodate for every type of global Pokemon Go trainer. Please, for the second time, #Hear Us Niantic, talk to your community, talk to us, let's have a discussion. The answer is beyond creating scarce limitation for remote raids, but creating rich incentivized environment to encourage local community congregation. Sincerely, the Pokemon Go community.
Yeah, and they were called out. The top comment is, you failed to mention the price spike, which truly is a lot worse than the 5-day limit.
Yeah.
Or the 5 per day limit.
And then the second comment responding to that, the comment was actually the 95% increase in price is what's doing it for me. Why isn't this mentioned? The second comment says, because Niantic is going to move the goalpost after people complain. The original data mine price increase will be their compromise. See value customers only a 50% increase. We are listening. And I think I think that is true. If Niantic backs off at all, that is Black Friday in a nutshell. If you go to a standard box store and you're looking at TVs and you see the let's just call it a Sony 75-inch TV, like, oh man, this is amazing. You'll find it to be let's say $1,000. I don't know. I'm making all this up for the story. $1,000. And then Black Friday's coming. Now, this is not my exact story, but this is the story I went through a couple of times. Black Friday's coming in a couple of weeks. I'll get a better deal. And then you wait till Black Friday and you get to Black Friday. And now that TV costs $1,500. But in the meantime, in those 2 weeks you waited, it got marked up to $1,800 from when you saw it at $1,000. Right. And these numbers probably are a little bit exaggerated, but that is exactly what a lot of things happen. Black Friday is a red herring. Let's keep using colors. It's very much a, hey, yes, there's going to be it's like going to play the lottery. There's a small chance you will win the $1 million. There's a small chance you will get that 70-inch TV for $100, but they have 6 of those in the whole entire store for the entirety of Black Friday, right? So they mark up a lot of stuff and then mark it down for sales, because that's how you have to do it legally. You can't call it a sale if you didn't actually change the price. But people go crazy over it, right? And that's a business strategy. So I think that that if they change the price, it'll be that. It's like, oh, we jacked it way up, so we're not going to raise it as much. But I don't think that's going to, I honestly still don't think that's the biggest part. The biggest part is this is a trend of Niantic being them breaking the community.
Yeah, and then a couple days after they made the initial announcement, so this was April 3rd, they're like, hey, trainers, but guess what? We're going to increase the storage limit if you want to pay for it. We're going to increase the storage limit on your Pokemon storage and on your item capacity. Like, that's totally awesome, dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, so here's some more other.
There's certain substances that are legal in California, and I wonder how much is swirling around.
Stardust.
yeah. There's too much Stardust usage in Niantic these days. Oh.
However, if you are still looking for ways to have fun in this game, there's from Niantic Labs. There's an AR tutorial that is out there.
And I put this in the show notes specifically to call them out. Like, how tone deaf can you be? Your customers, the players, are upset right now, and you're just like, hey, look, what we really care about is our AR stuff. Here's an AR tutorial about what we're doing. I'm like, yep. It's so tone deaf. I swear.
So the very first response that I see, and I stress that I see because I don't know if it changes when you click on it. Fleece King, who we rated a couple weeks ago, Fleece King posts here. Oh, wow, this fixes everything! Exclamation point. Glad to see our overwhelming feedback is being listened to and responded to appropriately. Yeah, and then the next one is a different response. This is, yes, interesting tweet that completely ignores the past 5 hours and last few days worth of angry players. So where's your response to 25,000 plus tweets trying to grab your company's attention?
Yeah.
You know, I watched this happen with another game that was sunsetting, and I felt bad for the community leaders, or not leaders, the person that's paid to do the social media stuff, right? I felt bad for them because they had a job to do. They had to do what they were told. But you could just tell, like that kind of post, you could just tell they're going, I have to put this out, but this is not what we need to be doing to engage our audience or embrace our community. But they have a job to do. And golly, man, I cannot imagine what is what they're having to deal with. And Joe, if I hadn't quit the game already, this would be it. I went ahead and, like I do, I clicked on the next headline to get ready.
They give us fantastic events, don't they?
This is a joke, right? I mean, I'm being serious. This is a joke, right?
This event already happened. It's done. It's over.
And did it actually happen?
Yes. Yes.
All right, everybody. I'm just going to tell you what you missed. If you missed it, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. There's so many cool things you can do for April Fool's Day. I hate April Fool's Day. I was just going to tell you, I think people go nuts and do stupid things. But that being notwithstanding, there's some good jokes out there. There's some good stuff.
Like when Niantic made all of the sprites in game, the old sprites, the 8-bit sprites, that was
great
awesome.
Joke. Yeah, and we wanted it to stay. Another one here recently. The Peachtree Road Race, which is on July 4th on Peachtree Street. It's been there for 50 plus years, I think it is. They tweeted out, the Atlanta Track Club actually tweeted out, hey, we're moving the Peachtree Road Race to Buckhead, and it's going to be in August. And, just because it's called Peachtree Road Race doesn't mean it has to be on Peachtree. Everybody's like, what? And they're like, no, come on, we're just kidding. And it was a good joke. This, however, April Fowl's Day, Pidgey Pandemonium, Pidgeys everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere. You get shiny Pidgeys, extra small, extra large.
This was a 6-hour community day. I thought community days were only 3 hours, but no, this one was a 6-day Pidgey community day where you had increased chances to find XX small and double X small and double X large Pidgey during the event. And it had special research where you could get even more Pidgey, and there were Pidgeys everywhere. It was yeah. I pulled up the game and I was like, oh, look at all these Pidgeys. And I went, bye. No.
All right. Well, moving on to the next headline. Poster U_scuffed5 posted, just noticed there's no longer a warning prompt when you load up the game. Stay safe while playing. Don't enter dangerous areas, etc.
Well, clearly it's time to enter dangerous areas and then sue Niantic for not warning us, right? That's what we need to do, right? And the top comment, guess I'll just play it unsafe. Shrugs.
Yeah.
I'm in danger.
All right. Now here's another. Now this is just a bug.
Yeah.
It sounds like. But Go Battle League just lagged out and gave me 85 free wins towards my Go Battle League timed research.
That's the kind of bug that I could get behind as a feature.
Right, but here's the thing.
But clearly, with all this extra revenue that they're getting from all these price hikes, they can pay to fix these bugs, right? They can devote resources to fixing. Yeah, right. They are not.
It said the match froze and the research notification for Go Battle League wins started pouring in. It's the same guy. I mean, they fought the same trainer, and it's like blam, 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 blam.
The top comment. Does that mean that this guy had 85 losses on his record? Yeah. Talk about tanking your elo.
Oh my goodness! Right?
Oh man!
And do they take it? Will they take it away from him?
Who knows? It's Niantic. They probably don't care.
Yeah. Trainers. All right. Finally, Joe, a real Pokemon story for somebody to play the game. Trainers, help out Blanche during the A Mystic Hero of Mystic. Now, that's just a slap in my face. I mean, I'm not even in the game anymore, but I'm still Valor to my heart, baby. No, what are you doing? What are you doing? But help out Blanche during the A Mystic Hero event. And, Joe, you're blue-blooded, so why don't you take it away?
I don't care about events. So this is going to be April 13th to April 17th. It's going to have a costumed Lapras that has a Blanche-themed accessory on it. A Blanche crown, a Lapras, if you will, just for Charles.
Yeah, kind of. I'm looking at it. You're not wrong.
There's going to be double XP for evolutions. It's like Niantic get with the times. People don't do mass evolutions to level up anymore. 2 guaranteed Candy XL for evolving. Well, at least there we go. They learned you have to have guaranteed stuff, Niantic. And then lures will last for 3 hours. And there's the special research, a Mystic Hero will be part of it as well. Pauly D. It's another distraction to buy lucky eggs. Yeah.
I mean, at least it's something.
Yeah, is it though? Is it?
I don't know. Miko Graphics posted this on the Self Road, an overview, which is just a graphic version of what Joe just talked about. It's a great graphic, Miko. I'll give you that. That's about the best thing I can say about it. Make it lucky, make it honey ho, make an appearance in the game. Apparently.
Reggie Alecki, the electric Reggie.
Oh, is that how you say it?
I don't know, maybe. It's
okay, so it's it doesn't look like any of the other Reggies. So.
Is the thing you say. They're just trying to wish us a Merry Christmas.
Are they?
Oh man, yeah. So it's another elite raid, and they've already sent out a new tweet saying, "Hey trainers, we'd like to inform you that we will be removing the timed research for the upcoming Melikilikilaka elite raid, while we work to improve its intended distribution method. This timed research will be offered at a later date, which will be announced in the near future." So. Again, they're announcing stuff that they're actually not prepared for because they don't actually have developers working on any of this because all they care about is their AR technology and they don't care about Pokemon Go because they're trying to kill it. That's all.
That is all, my friends. Well, that is all.
That's all, folks.
Not the greatest. Yeah, Salty Joe, Mr. Timmery says Salty Joe.
I think we need to stand outside of Niantic Labs with a boombox, holding it up, playing the Pokemon theme to remind them that they are supposed to want to be the very best, not the mediocre, minimum viable product that they have been giving us. They are not the very best.
I hope that you get that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Pauly D mentions this elite raid is on Easter. The elite raid
it's not a bunny-based raid? Where, okay, though.
No, but...
How many countries in the world celebrate Easter? I know it's not just a Northern American thing.
Well, I mean,
Catholics in that throughout the world might.
Yeah, the Catholics throughout the world celebrate Easter.
I think this is maybe it is. Do you think this is as large as Christmas?
Well, I mean, when you talk about Christians, there are the 2-a-year Christians that only go on Christmas and Easter. So it's up there. It's probably not as big as Christmas in general, but it's as far as Christian holidays go, it's up there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Joe. I mean, do you have any random trivia by chance? No?
Niantic doesn't deserve random trivia.
This is true. This is very true.
Niantic can't handle the random trivia.
If you would like to write in your 2 cents, show at PokemonGoPodcast.com. Get it while it's hot, because it might not be around too much longer. I don't know. You leave your speak pipe like Cesar did, and share your thoughts. Just get your voice out there. Vent line. You don't even have to say your name. You can just please keep it family friendly. Censor yourself, or please. It's all I'm asking. But vent away. Share your heart. Share your thoughts. It'll feel good. It's just the get it off your chest line right now. Reddit is r/Pokemon Go Podcast. Where do we have a question for next week, Joe?
How can Niantic save themselves from this PR disaster?
Okay, that's how so on Reddit.com/r/Pokemon Go Podcast, it will be how can Niantic save itself from this PR disaster. You can also leave your comment on Spotify if you listen to our podcast through that app there, and we'd love to have you do that. Or again, speak pipe it, baby. Just call in and be like, roll tide, go Birds. Then we'll be all right. YouTube is /Pokemon Go Podcast. TikTok is at Pokemon Go Podcast. And you can catch us for the next couple of weeks, at least, here on twitch.tv/Pokemon Go Podcast, where you can join all the bots that come out. I'm not going to read them all because you know what? They don't all type. But we got Lincoln Prime. We got Mr. Tambo 19. Polly Danger Quad 8.
Poly Danger.
Quad 8. Polly Danger Quad 8. Squishy Twitchy. And there was somebody, maybe they didn't stick around. There was somebody else that had popped in that commented there. And if I missed your name and you're a real
It was
person,
the light one.
Yeah, that one. But if you're a real person and I didn't call you out there, please let us know. And thank you to everybody who listens to the podcast and supports us each week by downloading that. Joe, where can they find you on the web?
You can find me on Twitter at Joseph_Ard. Brace that underscore, where I retweeted the Hear Us Niantic. I'm having trouble being optimistic that it'll work, but I went ahead and retweeted it anyway. So there's that. Where can they find you, Charles?
Not retweeting that. I can tell you right now because I don't think they'll ever hear it.
That's
so
okay. I retweeted it on the show one as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you for including me in there.
I don't have access to your account. I'm not retweeting it for you.
No, I'm not. No, that's not the point. But find me here each week with Joe and working on those things and rock out of podcasting across all social media. And I'm really pushing my brain into gear to get season 2 of Finding the Stories out there. So, hey, do me a solid. Go listen to the first season of Finding the Stories on anchor.fm/Finding the Stories and check that out. And hopefully I'll get my head out of my butt and
it's
get some stuff over to the producer and get some
of
stuff
lovely rock god.
Well, tune in next week to hear Joe Salt.
NACL, baby.
That actually took me a minute to figure out what you said.